Welcome back. This is Chili Davis, and I'm back to do another video. I want to welcome back all my subscribers and welcome to my new viewers. If you're new, please click the subscribe button. Also, if you want frequent updates, click the notification so when you know that I've uploaded a new video. So tonight's video is going to be about three stocks. I'm just going to go over Apple because they report next week, and I'm going to go over Netflix really briefly, and I'm going to go over AMD. So those are the three stocks that I'm going to cover tonight and just talk about them very briefly. It is earnings season. That means each company has reported its revenue for the previous quarter. So we are closing Q3. This is usually happens during the month of October. This is the final quarter of 2021. And there's a lot of good news that's already happened during the first week of earnings season, which was Bank of America, JP Morgan, and Citibank. So we're just going to cover three that report in the next 2 weeks. Apple being the first one, which reports on 10/28. And then we're going to also cover Netflix, which does report this week on 10/19. And then the last one we're going to cover is AMD because I am a shareholder of AMD as well. They report on 10/26. So that is next week, just like Apple, but they do report within the next 2 weeks. I would cover Tesla, but I cover Tesla like every other day on my channel. So I just try not to always talk about Tesla, but I wanted to give you some vision and some idea about some stocks and what happens. So we're gonna take a look at Apple first. And so as you can see, for the last 5 days, Apple is up slightly. Now, one of the reasons why Apple is down is because they announced that they weren't able to meet their need of production due to the semiconductor shortage. So you want to be aware of that. But overall, if you look at Apple stock over the last year to date since January, they have improved. So January of this year, they opened up at $130. And over the year, they've been up as much as, in some cases, they've been up as much as, 15%. But right now, year to date, they are pretty much up over 11% since January. So Apple is in solid position. They do have a new iPhone coming out. I think it's the iPhone 13. So be on the lookout for that. And like I said, they report this week. They are a dividend paying stock. They do have a 52-week high of 157. And then they have 52-week low of 107. So right now, Apple is still a good buy, but depending on what they report for the quarter, which we know for the quarter, they probably already did okay. But what they also tell us in the earnings call is how they will be moving forward. So we already know about the semiconductors. What will that happen? Will they still be able to meet the demand, or will they be able to still exceed demand, but it'll be a little harder doing it? So they'll give guidance coming out of the earnings call, and they'll also give current revenue and profit for the current Q3 quarter. And also, you can always take a look here under news tab. If you Google the stock, like in this case, AAPL stock, there's a tab here that just talks about all where you get the initial chart here. And then you can always do news. And you can see here's an article, Yahoo Finance, why Apple shares are rising. And then Apple dividend growth, huge buyback are big for investors. So again, this could be a reason that people buy the stock if they're growing their dividend. Because sometimes stocks are just like money. People have, a few $1,000s or a few hundreds of $1,000s, and all they want is a little bit of dividend paid back to them, more than what they might make at their local bank or some other interest-bearing account. So this is Apple. Again, you can look under the news tab and find out what's going on. with the stock. The three websites that I usually like to check, Yahoo Finance, of course, but I also like to check Motley Fool. And usually you'll see it under news tab. Motley Fool, they're covering the 5G aspect, the fact that the new phones have the 5G feature. But they cover topics like, is it too late to buy Apple stock? So again, Apple reports, they report next week. And so I just wanted to cover the stock, Apple, today, and give you an idea of what's going on with the stock. It is down a little bit over the last week or so. It did dip, and now it's hedged back up to like 150. So it does have a high of 157. And so Apple does report on next week. So keep your eye on Apple. Next stock ticker we have is Netflix. Netflix reports this week as well. And they also have seen a lot of new subscribers. They have a new movie out called The Squid Movie, and it's quite interesting. So it says Netflix is American paid television over-the-top media. It offers subscription based on video and a demand library of films and television sets. So I do own some Netflix as well. But if you look over the last year, Netflix has been consistently, it's been up over 20%. So it has performed relatively well for 2021. And, if you notice a lot about these stocks, they tend to go up and they tend to go down. And usually they tend to go up as they approach earnings calls. So as earnings calls here on this website, Earningswhisper, we know they report on 10/19. So after they report this week, they may go back down. But as the news comes out during the week and over the last few weeks, of course, the stocks, tend to surge higher. Well, if you look back 3 months, maybe in August, the stock was down in August. But as every 3 months, the stock does usually gain some momentum, or it does tend to go back down depending on what is going on. They do gain momentum going into the earnings call. So you'll hear a lot of information about a stock as they're leading up to earnings. So that's a good thing. But what you want to be able to do is buy during the dips. So if you look at Netflix in a big picture scheme of things, there were several times during the year where the stock dipped. It was 502 in May, and then it ran into another earnings call, it peaked, and then it dipped again in August, and then it appeared again. And as it came through this last quarter, they did good. They had new revenue, and the stock has increased. But we don't know the official numbers until the earnings date on 10/19. Okay, so right now Netflix is a very hot stock. You probably want to wait for a pullback, but as you can see, the 52-week high is 646, which at this point it's only $20 difference. And you would like to see this, I guess more take a pullback, but depending on what news is released during the earnings call, this stock could even go higher, or depending on what the analysts say or understand the numbers to be, it can fall back. But Netflix has a 52-week high of 646 and a 52-week low of 463. Stock like this, I would definitely like to buy more at the 500 range. I did buy some Netflix last week, and I'm debating whether or not to buy some this week because it is so close to the earnings. But at the same time, if you're a long-term investor on Netflix, it may still be a good time to buy right now, but I'm waiting for a pullback. Okay, so that's Netflix. Some of the areas they're focusing on is growing their subscription base internationally, getting more subscriptions around the world, and also increasing the rate. I know some people have noticed over the last few quarters, I believe Netflix has gone up $1 or $2. So keep your eye on Netflix. Again, they report on 10/19. I think that's Wednesday, but they will report their revenue for the quarter and then also the guidance going into the next quarter. So that is Netflix. Last stock I want to talk about is AMD. AMD reports later this month. And if you look at the year-to-date chart, they've been up as well. This stock last year was trading in the range of 80 bucks. So if you look at last year, this stock, let's see. Yeah, last October, this stock was trading around 80 bucks. And this year it's really came into its own and it's up. So I still like Netflix at this price. It probably has a ways to go, but I would like, if I was to buy some more AMD, I like to see it come back around $100 per share. AMD has hit the 122, the 52-week high 122. Kind of like when they came out of their earnings back in, let's see, was it August? Yeah, back in August when they came out of their earnings call before, they kind of peaked at this 122. And I still haven't seen it come back down. So to buy some more AMD, I really would like to see this thing come back down a bit, but it is trading about 112 per share, and it has gotten as high as 122 per share. And if you just look back here at the previous earnings date that was reported back on July 26, you can see after July 26 on August 4th, that's when it neared around that 120 per share. So usually coming out of the earnings call, the stock is going to rocket up based on good information if the company did what it was supposed to do during the quarter. But after that earnings call, there will be people, in this case, they did sell off the stock, not because they did something wrong, but people took profit. As I stated earlier, over this last year, the stock was trading around $80 per share. And so I could see how once this stock broke into the hundreds, that a lot of people just took profit. So like I said, since the last quarter, this stock had peaked at 122 per share, and then it kind of settled back down. And I'm expecting them to have more good news, so the stock could surge past this 122 per share, but we don't know. So like I said, we're waiting on earnings call next week for AMD. Again, I'm using Earningswhisper.com. And again, they report on 10/26. So those are the three stocks I wanted to cover tonight. Apple, Netflix, and AMD. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below. Also, if you want to get started trading, there is Robinhood, but there is another app that I like to use. It's called Webull. So if you look up Webull.com on your mobile phone, they do have an app and they do allow paper trading. So that means you can simulate trading, you can compete with other people, and they have the same features as Robinhood, where you can do stocks, you can do options, you can do ETFs, and of course you can do crypto as well with Webull. I really like Webull as just an app where I can monitor things, where I can just look at the stocks that I own and I can glance at my phone and see it. So check out Webull, Webull.com, or check for it in the Google store. So I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like and share and leave your comments below. Have a great evening.